Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde. Never heard it. Well, I think you know the answer to this one. The video for Nothing But a G Thing came out 5 days before this album did. So if you're one of those people that didn't like the gangster rap thing and you wanted an alternative, this is what you listen to. I was not one of those people. The album starts off with For Better or Worse Interlude, which is a song that we'll talk about in a few minutes. The first official song is Oh Shit, which is a song that is a series of stories, mostly about sex, that make you go, oh. Next, we have another interlude called It's Jigaboo Time, which is an equal amount of comedy and social commentary. It kind of undercuts itself at the end where it says everybody's a jigaboo, so you might as well get paid. Now we're getting into the actual song For Better or Worse. And this song has 3 verses. The first verse is Slim Kid talking about getting married to a woman called Ramalinda. I'm assuming he's talking about hip hop. The second verse is Amani getting married to a woman who may not like him very much, but she still has to be with him for better or worse. And then we have the third verse. This is Fatlip prank calling a woman for about what feels like 2-3 minutes. It sounds like he's having a nervous breakdown. It's very weird to listen to, and it's not rhyming at all. It just sounds like psychosis. This is actually the 3rd single off the album, which means that it's the single after Passing Me By, which seems like a very weird choice. I looked and they actually did shoot a video with Fatlip rambling on a telephone. It's a bold choice. Next we have I'm That Type of Nigga, which gives us Fatlip's first actual rap verse of the album. This is also the second time we get to hear about Imani wanting to have sex with someone's mom, because in the song Oh Shit, he goes into great detail about having sex with someone's mom, and he's apparently really into it. The song also has the only featured artist on the whole album, Buckwheat, who's featured on this song and on the DL. The next track is If I Were President, which is another freestyle. It kind of makes me wonder if they just recorded all of these at once and there's just like hours and hours of these freestyles that we never got to hear. Next we have the Sunflower remix, which was originally on the Brand New Heavies album. Jay Swift decided to make a remix and put it on here. They added what sounds like the Jet Screamer song from the Jetsons, the ooh ah ah. It could be from something else, but that's what it sounds like to me. Side note, I feel like the Jetsons get used a lot in hip-hop music for some reason, especially in the 90s. I know Phife Dawg says F Judy Jetson, now they call me Jet Screamer on one song. You're just a son like Elroy, Guru. Those are the only 2 I can think of, but it feels like they used it a lot. Not as much love for the Flintstones. Anyway, next we have On the DL, which is a series of stories that need to be kept on the down low that range from masturbation to murder. A Slim Kid seems to be taking this song a little more serious than the other 2 MCs, and for some reason he gets 2 verses. Next we have Pack the Pipe, which is just them packing a weed pipe for 30 seconds or so. Next we have Officer, which starts out with Fatlip doing a pretty great Chuck D impression. I don't know if he's doing a Flavor Flav impression at the beginning, but that's pretty flawless too. Fatlip starts out rapping like Chuck D, but by the 3rd line he goes back to his normal voice, which I don't know if he did that on purpose because he couldn't keep up with it, but it's pretty funny. The song is basically about how nerve-wracking it is to be pulled over by the police. This was about a year after the Rodney King beating, so by the way, it hasn't gotten any less nerve-wracking. Next, we're talking about a heavier topic, your mama. This is the 3rd time Amani mentions being a little too intimate with your mama. And this has nothing to do with the review, but there's also another song by this band called Wolf Ticket called Your Mama, which is like an 8-minute song about your mama, which if you've never heard, you should listen to it. It's pretty funny. This song was the first single off the album. It didn't do too well, but the next single and the next track on this album did, Passing Me By. This song has aged really well. Mostly because they never blame the woman, they never get angry at the woman, they never cross over into creepy stalker mode. There's no point where they're like, oh, I'm rich now and she loves me. It's just 4 very distinct stories that are just sad. This is also the moment where I think Fatlip distinguished himself from the other members with that last verse. I mean, when he says return to sender, my heart just sinks. Shouldn't be touching my face. The next song is Other Fish, which is distinct for a few reasons. One, it is the only song where there's only one performer, which is Slim Kid. And two, it is the only song that's not produced by Jay Swift. I just want to talk about Jay Swift for a minute. The story is Jay Swift is a really sad story. If you don't know, he was a member of the crew, and at the end of the album, he felt that he wasn't getting the production credit that he deserved, and he got into a fight specifically with Slim Kid. After he broke up with the group, he developed a crack cocaine habit, and on a human level, that's heartbreaking. And on a music level, it's sad that we never really got to hear his full potential, because just judging from what we hear on this album, he could have been one of the greats. But as long as you're alive, there's still hope. So the next track is Quentin's on the Way, which is just a little happy little jaunt about Quentin being on the way, and he's bringing the J. Next we have Pack the Pipe, which is a song about weed, clearly. And not only did Quentin bring the J, he also got a verse. So shout out to Quentin, whoever that is. The album finishes out with Return of the B-Boy, which is an old school B-Boy jam. In my opinion, Fatlip gives the best performance. So side note, this has nothing to do with the album, but there is this documentary by Spike Jonze called What Up Fatlip. So there's one point in the documentary where Fatlip is sitting in the front passenger seat and Spike Jonze is sitting in the back filming him. And he's telling this really sad story about getting addicted to drugs and everything that happened after he left the group and just being sad and depressed. And the entire time that he's telling the story, he's dressed head to toe like a clown. And it is the weirdest thing you're ever going to see, and I think you should watch it. The documentary as a whole is pretty good too, so check it out. Yes, I do see the legacy of this album, and I understand why it's a classic. This is very different from LA hip-hop, but it's not really that different from hip-hop as a whole. It doesn't sound that much different from Diamond D or Brand Nubian, specifically what Grand Poobah was doing, UMC's, Fushnikins. Whenever somebody from LA doesn't sound like they're, part of the gang culture, this album is always going to be what's brought up. With the exception of For Better or Worse, everything on this album is pretty great and definitely worth listening to. So I'm probably still going to be listening to this for a while. So have you heard Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm going to be putting out videos until I run out of albums. Hopefully that's not anytime soon. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.